The league is now married to gambling. They have to be honest about these injury reports.
I don't give a damn about your injury report. If a guy doesn't play, so what? I'm going to use the Mike T quote, seek that comfort. We don't give a damn where we play, when we play, who we play. You just got to play. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Not Just Football with Cam Heyward. As you know, I'm your host, Cam Heyward, and I am joined today by Hayden Walsh. Hayden, how'd you enjoy your week?
I love the way you started that. Hello, friends. It's like your Jim Nance at the Masters. That was beautiful. Week was great. Obviously, a big win Sunday, but I would say we have to start somewhere. I'm a little frustrated. We recorded last week. I think you knew your contract was done. You didn't say anything. Congratulations, man. Very happy for you. I know you wanted to get this done. It seems like you're going to be a Steeler for life. Tell us how it went down and how do you feel about it?
Okay, I didn't know it was getting done. We were in the process of it.
You knew it was done.
No, I didn't.
Recorded. Listen, you knew. You knew. We talked like the next day, and you told me it was done in passing.
Because I told you Pat's was getting done, not mine.
Yes.
There was a lot of work with mine. The crazy thing about it, this deal had been getting worked on since February. And when the Steelers came to we talked about me being a one helmet guy. It took a lot of great minds in getting this done. Omar Khan, Mike T, Mr. Rooney, my agent, Michael Parrott Jr. From Priority Sports. If you need a good agent, come find him. But, I think, it doesn't cement anything because I still got to keep working. I like that, there's still a lot to prove in this. And there's still a lot to prove in my career, my contract. That's all I wanted was the opportunity. And now I just get to go out there and play. I don't need to worry about it. But for anyone thinking I was, keeping my cards close to the vest, it was more just, you don't want to get overexcited and then it doesn't happen. I think once the deal's done, it's done. But, to get my contract done, to get Pat Fryermuth's deal done so quickly, I think, we're in a good place.
Well, congratulations. Like I said, I know how much you wanted it. And I think it's kind of crazy. You are going to be a one helmet guy because not everybody's that fortunate. So congrats, man. Really happy for you. Let's go to Sunday. Obviously, you came back home. I thought you played great, and I'm not the only one. PFF, who I only care about their ratings when they're good for you, you rated second out of 104 guys at your position. So you played a great game. I thought you were dominant against the run. What did you think about the team and the defense?
I could care less about a grade. My job is to win the game. My job is to win a line of scrimmage. Playing with good technique, playing low, using hands. I thought I did that okay. But there's a lot to improve on. I thought, defense, offense, I thought we had splash plays from a guy named TJ Watt, delivered in key and critical moments. If we get, we'll talk about this later, but if we get the reps on our side, we are looking at another way to get 7 points off the board. I thought it was just complimentary football. Offense, even though we didn't get touchdowns, they moved the ball with success. We're able to sustain drives and keeping the defense fresh as well. Hopefully later we can turn those into, touchdowns. But I thought, had some big plays with George Pickens down the field. Justin Fields, handling the pressure pretty good. I think the running game between Justin Fields, Najee, Jaylen Warren, there were a multitude of things going on, and I thought they played pretty well. Defensively, two guys that are new to the team, Deshaun Elliott and Dante Jackson coming up big with interceptions. I think that's key for us. It's welcome them to the group, but getting off to a good pace where, they're creating turnovers is great. And then, a guy like Chris Boswell having a successful day is huge.
The best kicker in the league, baby. That guy was unflappable on Sunday. That was great. I want to talk to you, though. You, I think last year, I don't know if you were more 100% when you came to the season. How different was this first game compared to last year for you personally?
I remember last year thinking, I don't know how it's going to be because I was still dealing with it. I was hobble going into that game. And then, this is probably the last time I have to talk about it, but I dove trying to sack the quarterback, and as soon as I dove, everything tore in my groin, and it was hard just getting up from that moment. But man, it felt good to be out there. Felt pretty close to 100%. There were no limitations. I was able to do what I wanted, and felt free enough to play.
What was it like playing in front of everybody in Atlanta? How many tickets did you have to get? I never got the number. You don't got to say how much it cost, but how many was it?
30.
30?
30.
Wow. Well, I appreciate that I was one of the lucky ones that got those.
Yeah. And I barely saw you. So
I know. It was, hey, man, it's wild. It's, you know how it is after those games.
Hayden saw plenty of his friends at the Falcons game, so he was plenty busy.
I did. But so, like, what is it like playing in front of your friends and family? You seem to have a pretty good record here when you come to Atlanta. So how do you like that?
I love it. When you think about playing in the city you grew up in, your dad played in it. Always want to have a good performance there, but at the end I just try to tune it out and focus on the game. The cool thing is it wasn't just fans for me; it was fans for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Steeler Nation was in full effect all over that stadium. So we were very lucky to make them go on a silent count at home. Man, that is special. When a team doesn't have the wherewithal or the advantage of using your home stadium, man, we can really thrive with that as a defense.
I think it's obvious, but can you explain a little bit why them having to go on silent count is so important for you guys, especially for like a guy like TJ who clearly timed up the head movement from the guard or whoever it was. He clearly timed it up. How much of it is advantages for you guys up front?
I think so. It's very huge. There's a lot of communication that goes on between the offensive line and the quarterback and the entire offense. But if they're not able to use, their cadence and go set hut, 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 or move it around, or talk about a call in and out of plays, then you're mostly on silent count. And if you're in a tough position where you got to throw the ball, man, it's going to be tough for you to block a guy like TJ Watt.
Yeah, and that was obvious. Going to Atlanta a little bit, obviously, I think Kirk's probably a little rusty coming off injury. They got a bunch of new skill guys, new coaching staff. What'd you see from them? Like a guy like Bijan Robinson, he's definitely one of the most dynamic backs in the league. What'd you see from him? Were you impressed? What'd you think?
Man, the kid's dynamic. He's not a one-trick pony where he gets out to the side, is just going to make a guy miss. He can go between the tackles. He can catch out of the backfield. He's a complete player. And so, that requires a lot of attention. You just got to keep feeding that kid the ball. A guy like Kyle Pitts got a touchdown his first game. Still shaking our heads because we just didn't execute nicely on that. And, I think there's a lot to look forward to in Atlanta. Your defense is going to continue to keep getting better as you incorporate Justin Simmons and Matt Judon into the equation. And then you look at a guy like Grady Jarrett who looked really good from afar, but I thought he looked better after coming off injury last year as well.
How much crap was Kirk talking after he threw that touchdown to Pitts?
Kirk,
was he talking?
He really talked a lot of crap.
Really?
No, he more does that to the media and is just sitting saying you like that, but mostly I think he's just trying to inspire his teammates and trying to stay locked in.
He's never gotten in your face before and said, you like that?
Nah, he ain't doing all that. We ain't playing that.
He's not Phillip Rivers?
No. Phillip talks a good mess, but I get to, have a little bit of fun with Phil. Me and Phil, he actually knew somebody in our neighborhood. So we were always on good speaking terms, and, Phil never really talked mess, but I love playing Phil because he was so loud at the line of scrimmage that you could tell where the slides were happening just because everybody on the field knew what he was calling. There was nothing different. Week in and week out, Phil was going to go to the same calls, and that's just the big mouth he is.
Which quarterback currently is the biggest trash talker?
Ooh, currently?
I have one in mind. I just want to see if it is who you.
Currently? Oh, man. Man, who are the big trash talkers now?
Josh Allen feels like he talks.
He talks to the refs, and he doesn't really talk to. And it might just be they don't talk to the D linemen.
I was gonna say it feels like it's a DB thing for him, not a D line. But I don't know. Nobody really talks to the D line, is what you're saying.
No. You keep your stuff to a minimum with the D line.
All right. Well, if you think of it during the show, just say it. Just blurt it out. You don't have to worry about. You just blurt it out. All right.
Sure.
Okay. But congratulations, Denver this weekend.
Yeah.
Very excited, and I think that's a great start for you guys.
Yeah, good start. A lot more to accomplish. We're not ready to throw a parade just yet, but I think now we get to take it on the road again and go to Denver. Hostile environment, altitude always plays a big key in that. Pace, Bo Nix being the quarterback, he takes good care of the ball. I know he had some turnovers yet last week, but just from his college tape, he's done a really good job taking care of the ball. And then, they've got some, good pieces on the other side. A guy like Brian Browning from Ohio State, having a lot of success. Cortland Sutherland on the other side of the ball, big wide receiver. So, we're going to have our work cut out, but looking forward to it. And it should be a fun week. Explain to the fans just how difficult that environment is with the altitude. Denver is one of a kind. The altitude, you don't even have to play football. You go to Denver, you're going to feel the altitude. Mm-hmm. I get headaches even just walking around there. But, can't be the reason why we lose a game. Can't be the reason why we win a game. So we've got to battle the elements and be ready for it. No, I agree. Would you rather play them early in the year or late? Excuse me. I don't know. I honestly don't. It's always tough either way. So, it's a place where I haven't gotten a win yet in my career. So I know I gotta check that off the board. Got to get it off this week. One more thing I do want to go back to this week. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, obviously a lot of confusion or whatever. I don't even think the fans knew that Russ was really even possibly going to miss the game up until about Friday. How impressed were you with Justin? Maybe not knowing 100% he was going to be the guy, but he was ready to go and answered the bell. I think a lot of guys answered the bell in this game. I thought Justin, came in admirably, just, staying poised and being ready for, what was, going on, not having turnovers, converting some, tougher third downs. I thought he played very well. A guy like Spencer Anderson stepping in at left guard for Isaac Seumalo, finding out, just a couple days before that, he had to step up. Even in the game, we lose our punter, and Chris Boswell has to step in and punt. We had a lot of guys stepping in different ways, and I just thought they answered the call. Man, that Cameron Johnston one hurts. I was so excited to watch that guy just boom it all year and flip the field. Yeah. Such a weapon. That one stunk. It looked bad when he was on the ground, and then when Boz came out to kick, I had just assumed the worst. That was just terrible news. Yeah, rough. Great teammate, Ohio State Buckeye. Man, he had a heck of a leg, and he was showcasing it throughout, the preseason. We got to rally around him and, make big plays, even though he's not there. Yeah, Boz, that was a great kick by Boz. That ain't easy, man. He came in there, punted that ball, got it down the 40 years. Scotty Miller with a great play, too, there. Yeah. Really just a great, great team effort. Hopefully Sunday we can get a couple touchdowns, though. I got Najee in fantasy, so I could really use a couple TDs from him, if you know what I mean. So put in a good word party. Okay, I'll tell him. We can move on, though, to 3 it out if you want now. I'm moving on right now. No more fantasy talk, I promise. All right, getting in the news of the week for 4 it out. This week's 4 it out. First one is Jordan Mason has a huge game. Afterwards, he shared they had found out Friday he would start. The problem was the team reported CMC, Chris McCaffrey, wouldn't play Sunday. How much do injury reports matter? Personally, I don't care about an injury report because, you could suspect a player to not play and then all of a sudden he's in the starting lineup and brings the extra juice to the team just to, rile a team up. So, I remember years ago I think we were playing the Colts, and Ben had gotten hurt the week before. It was questions if he was going to play. And so the backup quarterback goes in. he gets hurt. Then Ben goes in and goes off. I think he had like 6 touchdowns. And so, that was always a reminder. Doesn't matter if they're not starting, you better be ready to play your A game because, man, if, they get the chance, they're going to try and run up the score.
Okay, so the Ben game you're talking about, I believe, is Colts game in 2014. Yeah. Roethlisberger threw for 522, 40 of 49, and 6 touchdown passes. Okay.
That's the most for a backup quarterback?
It is not. So Norm Van Brocklin is, and Matt Schaub, Warren Moon, and Joe Burrow all have more, but none of their games. I mean, Burrow's was pretty good. Ben threw 6 touchdown passes though. So I hear you on this, but as a guy, let's just go to fantasy. I said I wouldn't talk fantasy more. Let's talk fantasy and a gambling aspect of this. Okay. I don't think this announcement would not have bothered me if it happened early in the day Sunday, where people could adjust what they wanted to do, things like that. The league is now married to gambling. They have to be honest about these injury reports, okay?
I don't give a damn about your injury reports.
It matters, okay? It matters. It does.
No. There's showmanship and sportsmanship, and I don't think that's ever affected in our game. If a guy doesn't play, so what? It's y'all's fault for even taking him.
What? No. See, this is how I know you don't understand fantasy football. Christian McCaffrey was like the consensus #1 pick. Okay, now here's the thing. If you're a slick guy like me, you pick up Jordan Mason, put him in your lineup, and nothing's wrong because he was still awesome. So you need to protect yourself. But I think the timing of announcing these injuries, even for you guys, it's a disadvantage, Cam. It is a disadvantage. Like if you guys had just held it on, never even said anything about Justin Fields starting the entire week, and then he just comes out and starts, that's a disadvantage for the Falcons.
I'm going to use the Mike T quote, seek that comfort. We don't give a damn where we play, when we play, who we play. You just got to play.
Well, and I will say, Jordan Mason basically was Christian McCaffrey last night. He had like 140 yards rushing and was amazing. I still think, though...
On the waiver wire, so what are we talking about, bro?
No, I drafted him because McCaffrey had a calf injury. Like I said, you got to do your work here in this stuff. Okay?
See, so if a guy's not doing his work, shame on you.
Yeah, but see, I don't know, man. And then I think the problem I have is they clearly knew McCaffrey was not playing Friday. That's the biggest issue here. If Jordan Mason, and I feel bad for him for this, doesn't say, I knew Friday, we don't even care about this. It's the fact that they knew he was out the entire time. Sounds like they knew he was out the entire week, and they didn't say anything. You don't think the NFL is going to be mad about that?
I don't really care.
Well, it kind of ruins the argument here. So, yeah. I mean, I still think it matters, and I still think the NFL needs to step in and do something for fantasy football and gambling. Yeah. They should.
Yeah, let's protect, gambling and, fantasy football.
The only thing I'll say is they cannot take all the money from it and not try to protect it.
Oh, they can take all the money they want.
Well, they can. I guess they can. But I'm telling you, there could be some pissed off gamblers about that.
They're always pissed off. Nobody's ever happy about their gambling. Let's be honest.
Yeah, except the people who win. So, yeah.
All right, we're moving on to our next one. The Michigan Wolverines got absolutely demolished on national TV. They took the loss, and it was horrible. Any thoughts, Hayden?
I told you Friday night I had my concerns. I thought Michigan looked terrible against Fresno State. And that pretty much continued on Saturday against Texas. I think Steve Sarkisian is a hell of a play caller. I'm sure you could talk about this, but I also thought Wink Martindale got out-coached. I don't think the offense looked very good. Kind of shocked in today's day and age and with NIL that Michigan would not at least go try to get another quarterback when every other team in the country is doing that. But disappointing. The Natty last year still kind of eases that pain a little bit. But no, they look terrible. There's really no other way around it. I mean, I don't know. They looked awful.
So 2 things. Connor Stallions. The Connor Stallions pack did not hit. And so, you guys are going to keep waiting for that. But also, Steve Sarkisian coached his tail off. I think he's, an NFL offensive coordinator having that balance. It didn't feel like Quinn Ewers ever had to overthink the situation. Mm-hmm. I thought he, found his running backs and wide receivers in good spots. It never felt like he had to overcomplicate the situation. He felt very comfortable in the pocket. And against a team like that, you got to put you got to step on their throats. And I thought he did that entire day.
They did, and I thought they kind of took their foot off the gas in the second half and didn't really want to show a whole lot because they didn't need to. And just if you were stepped up, he made a play that Michigan could not get off the field on third down. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't pass the ball. I feel like that Jim Mora conference. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. We sucked. Basically, they sucked. But I am thankful for Notre Dame, because they really took off the pressure off Michigan. Paying NIU $1.5 million to show up and laying an egg like that. I know Marcus Freeman is your boy, so I know you won't go too hard on them. But what's it like when you play at a big program like you do at Ohio State and you know NIU's coming in? I'm sure there's some complacency there where you guys don't always take them serious, and this kind of thing can happen, right?
No, honestly, I feel like I didn't realize this until it was like my junior year, but we found out, the bigger schools pay, the smaller schools to play. But the way I always viewed it was, this is a chance for us to work on stuff. This is a chance for us to get better at our technique. Because, the next week you're not going to have this, you're going to have a different challenge. So, always finding something to work on, staying locked in. I think, coaching plays a huge part in that, because you can't take your foot off the gas. You just had a big week. You had a big win the last week to really set yourself back. It's crazy. But in this landscape of everything, is it the worst thing? You get a lot of things to correct, because you can still qualify for the college playoff. And so, it's not like you're in the BCS where 1 versus 2. There's 12 teams that get in now, and, now these teams have a chance to make it back.
I still think he would prefer it to be we won 17-14 and have a lot to improve on. That's a monumental loss.
You will never see me say, the loss. I mean, a win is worse than a loss, but I just think, most of these teams are going to have an ugly loss on their record, and it's not going to really matter. We had teams that had 3 losses that we were complaining about that should be in the national championship last year. So it's ugly. It's going to be that glaring thing. Ohio State years ago when they won the national championship lost to Virginia Tech. So
little different than NIU. Little different.
But I think in the long season that it is, hopefully you can learn a lot about yourself and a lot about your team.
One thing I don't think you've ever actually lost to a team like NIU or somebody that inferior, but I know you've lost a couple games in college where you guys should have won. When does the doubt start to creep in? Do you ever have it? I know you don't want to think that way, but are you ever man, we should be blowing them out. What's going on? And the more you keep them in, the more momentum they get, and then they start to play better. How often does that happen, and when does that happen?
The games I've lost, it's never been, we're letting them stay around. Man, teams are competitive. There's a million things that happen. And so you got to just play the game for what it is. It can't just be, oh, man, we should be killing this team. You got to approach it as, man, we got to execute. We got to, take and play in, play out, and see what the game unfolds into, so you're not surprised by it. You have us having this, thinking that, man, we're just the cream of the crop. We should be blowing this team out. They don't belong on the same field. That's when you expose yourself to getting, dunked on by a team that's supposedly inferior. You got to treat every game the same. You got to prepare. You got to work your tail off. If you do that, you can bounce back from the situation. It's not always going to be perfect, but let the game unfold, and then we'll address it from there.
Man, just the highs and lows of that. You go to A&M, get a huge win. Everyone's telling you you're going to be in the national championship and you're going to be playing for it. And then you lose the next week to IU is just so much. It's crazy. All right, let's go to third down here. Yep. Jets defense last night took a tough loss. They did not look good. Like I said earlier, Jordan Mason had a great game. I thought Brock Purdy looked really good. How much does this help Hassan Reddick's argument, who's been sitting at home? He got traded there, has not really shown up with the Jets. How much does this help him maybe get what he's looking for?
Man, you never want to see any players out. I think Chris Jones was a guy last year who kind of went through the same thing. He wanted a new deal. How many games did he sit out? 1 or 2 games?
I think it was I think it was after the first game they lost to Detroit, and then he was signed like the next day. He was signed.
Yeah. So hopefully this is puts them on track to getting this thing done. Because I know hopefully he's not staying in New York. He's not in New York now because those taxes are crazy as it is. So, man, forfeiting checks in New York, that's a rough deal to do. So, but I just think Hassan Reddick, he knows what type of player he is. And, I want all players to get paid. I don't want to run away from this.
I just am wondering, what is the reasoning for not signing him? I mean,
you trade for the guy. You trade for the guy.
That's my point. You traded for him. You knew he wanted a new deal. Why'd you trade for him? Did you really think he was just going to sit here and play on a 1-year deal and not look for money? I mean, he's got more than 10 sacks is four of his last years. I mean, what is the reasoning for not signing him? And like I said last night, they got torched, man. They could not stop the run. And imagine if Christian McCaffrey plays in that game.
Man, would have been more of the same. So
I mean, yeah, it absolutely would have. So let me ask you this though, and got to put like a week on it. Do you think the Jets finally come to their senses at some point and pay this guy?
I hope so. It's only going to get rougher here if you're not having your top players out there for you.
Well, yeah, you get blown out next week and look bad on that front seven. I think it's a guarantee then, right?
And just keep them out for our game too while you're at.
Well, yeah. Thank you. That would be nice. That would be real nice. Okay. All right, let's go to fourth down here. This is a little more fun one.
Yeah.
Woman arrested in Indiana Applebee's after argument over all-you-can-eat deal. So the question I have for you is, for $50 million, you can only have one restaurant for the rest of your life. You have to eat it every day. What restaurant would that be?
Bro, just give me Wendy's, bro. Like I could go to Wendy's. I haven't had Wendy's in a while, but a spicy chicken sandwich, fries, or you can go nuggets. Now they got the spicy nuggets, or you can go off the dollar menu with the double bacon cheeseburger. Junior bacon
cheeseburger.
That's all we used to go to.
So good. Oh my God.
That was our go-to, and I think we were going every day. So I think for the rest of our life, we'll take a quick 50 for that.
And I'll say they got breakfast now too, and their breakfast is kind of underrated. It's kind of underrated. Okay, it's not bad.
We got desserts with the Frosties.
Yeah. No,
the fries and the Frosty. We are cooking.
That's a good one. Now I will say we did talk before the show. You did give me a great idea. I am living in Georgia. Chick-fil-A is the answer because guess what? On Sunday I get a pass because they are not open on Sundays. So yes, and Chick-fil-A is easy to do every day. It's super easy. You can just get a chicken biscuit every morning. Get just a regular sausage biscuit, or you just go get a nice chicken sandwich or a nugget tray. A nugget tray is one of the most underrated things we have. Sunday football, get about 60 nuggets. It's beautiful.
You're crushing 60 nuggets in one day.
I'm assuming somebody at my wife might be helping or somebody's helping. But yeah, I have to get 2 nugget trays because, dude, the 30 will be gone in the first 1 o'clock window. No doubt about it. It'll be gone. So yeah, I think it's Chick-fil-A would be mine. That's a great call. But I do love the Wendy's one. You're right. In high school, we pretty much already did that, so getting paid to do it wouldn't have been bad.
Yeah, we just could have kept doing that.
Yeah,
Wendy's, help us out. Come sponsor the pod. We don't make this happen.
We would love that. Yeah,
for that matter.
I'll put a big old Wendy right behind me right here if Wendy's wants to come on.
Old Wendy?
Wendy, the mascot. I'd move all those pictures and just put her right there.
We should get a picture of Dave.
Love it.
Dave would be Dave Thomas.
I would eat a junior bacon cheeseburger every episode during it. How about that?
Oh, by the way, I found out that you haven't had jelly before.
I've never eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. No.
Have you had jelly by itself?
No. We were butter people. We don't do jelly. I don't do jelly. Nobody. In fact, none of my siblings have ever had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
What can we do to get you to have a peanut butter and jelly?
This is one of those things that I don't think is ever going to happen, dude. I just.
What if we win the Super Bowl?
No, probably not.
Why?
Because you guys are going to win the Super Bowl anyway. Why would I eat a peanut butter and jelly? It's like I've never actually smoked a cigarette either in my life. It's like why would I do that now either? So. What are you smiling at? A nicotine cigarette. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Yeah, a cigarette like out of a pack. I've never smoked one of those before, but I have smoked a cigar. And what the contents of that cigar are, you can use your imagination. All right, we're moving on now. We don't need to discuss that anymore. All right, we got a new segment here because the season's restarted now. Game balls of the week.
Yes.
I'll let you start off with this one. Go for it. You can, and I'm not limited to one. If you want to have a couple, you can have a couple.
First game ball, I'm going to give to our should-be special teams player of the week in Christopher Boswell. Going 6 for 6, 3 over 50. Also having a game-clinching punt. It wasn't any wrong he did on Sunday. I just thought he played the most complete game I've ever seen from a kicker. And, you know, I did learn something new about kicking. When a guy is indoors and is kicking from the emblem, it's all good. It's a lot easier for kickers. When a guy is outdoors playing on a grass field and they're kicking from the emblem, that is totally different because there's a change in surface and it's hard to kick. But you know, just learning that little detail about how hard kicking is and seeing how successful he was, man, that dude is a dog of the week, not just game ball of the week. That dude, you know, is the reason why we won. We had 18 points and all 18 points came from him.
He was awesome. And I will say for years, you have always pounded the table for that guy. He's the best kicker in the league. And I think people will fight you on that with other names, but you're right. The guy is Mr. Consistent, won that game, or didn't win the game because the defense played great. Justin made plays, Pickens made plays, but Boz was so amazing Sunday. And it was, like I said, the punt might have been the most underrated play he had because if he shanks that thing, really, it puts the defense in a bad spot, only up 5 at that point, too. So Boswell was great. Mine, I said I wouldn't do fantasy anymore, but Josh Allen led me to a fantasy victory this week. 31 points from my boy. Josh Allen is the guy. Are you going to do another one? Because I got another one if you don't want to do another one.
Do another one.
Okay, I'm going to give 2 game balls to Dante Jackson and Deshaun Elliott.
Yep.
New guys, picks, interceptions in that game, played great. I'm also going to throw one to you and our boy TJ Watt.
Throw the TJ.
No. You're getting one too. You're getting one too. Listen. I'm like a coach. I'm getting all these balls handed to me. You're getting one because I thought you played great, and I think it was a great first step. And also off the contract, I saw the motivation was there. So that was beautiful.
Okay.
And TJ was just unblockable.
Yes, TJ unblockable. Talked about how he did nugget, but I thought he just played very successful. You know, getting off the edge, tackles for loss. You know, there's not a guy that can really block him in this league. An underrated game ball needs to go Larry Ogunjobi. Looked healthy, you know, had some key pressure in getting turnovers. So, you know, I thought we had a lot of guys that, you know, came to play on Sunday, and that's the reason why we won the game.
Yeah, no. I mean, just a great team effort. I know people are going to gripe about not scoring a touchdown. It doesn't matter how you win, man. That was a great team effort. The offense made enough plays, and the defense was dominant. So, yeah, great win. So a lot of game balls to give out. So I didn't mind doing that. But Josh Allen, thank you for that W. We really appreciate it. That was great.
Okay, let's move on to TFLs of the week. I'm going to hit this off. TFLs, you know, for you offensive players, this is a bad thing. And, you know, in this thing, I'm thinking pretty bad about this because I am so disappointed with how the NFL not choose Lil Wayne for the Super Bowl. Lil Wayne, he came on the show, was an honor to talk to, even responded to Hayden and, you know, when Hayden said he stole music, but Lil Wayne handled it with grace, which he's probably going to handle this with grace. But I just think the Super Bowl is in New Orleans. This is a great opportunity to highlight a guy like Lil Wayne. Could have had Nicki Minaj, could have had Drake, man, could have had the Hot Boys, Juvenile. Man, it could have been one of the best performances to highlight what New Orleans is about. I just think we dropped the ball in playing into the beef of it all and just giving it to a guy that's, you know, very successful, but we missed it for the culture.
Well, let me ask you this. If Not Like Us is not released this year, does he get it?
No.
And that's kind of my thing is like we gave Dre and Snoop the performance when he was in LA. It kind of just makes sense to have Lil Wayne do this. I'm with you. I also think, though, the cool thing is it seems like there's outrage in the industry about this.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people on X. I saw Cameron had something to say. Obviously, Birdman and Nicki Minaj are upset about it because I'd imagine they would have probably been on stage.
Yes.
But I think, I think that's a total miss. I don't know, who's making those decisions, but Kendrick Lamar, this is also not taking anything away from Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is amazing and a great artist, and but I think this one just made too much sense to go Lil Wayne here. I was kind of shocked they did not go with him.
I think there might be some pettiness behind it. I don't know, but we'll see. But I think we're missing from a Super Bowl level. You have these great acts, but I think it means more when they're tied to the city they're in. Years ago when it was Atlanta, they brought out Big Boy. But it
was Maroon 5, though.
It was Maroon 5. But if you had Outkast, you could have done crazy numbers. I think we don't give enough to the classics they are, being from where they are, that they're going to put on a show to the nth degree. And I think we just forget about that. I think it's a lost thing. Players love playing in their home cities, and I think musicians love really dominating their cities. I was at a concert one time where Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, his mom's from Pittsburgh. Dude went out of his way to perform the best he's ever performed. Went above and beyond. And so, if guys are willing to do that where they're from and where they care about, you got to be willing to, pick up that end of the deal.
Before I go to mine, any shot he comes out with Kendrick Lamar, or does he kind of just punt on this?
Nah, we ain't doing that. Lil Wayne deserves to be the headliner, nothing less.
I agree. I figured, though, with all the backlash here, somebody's going to try to reach out to Lil Wayne to get him on the show or get him on somehow. But I'm with you. He should not do that because you passed on him now. You should not ask for him now.
No.
All right, my tackle for loss is going to be the officiating Sunday in that Falcons-Steeler game. Thought it was absolutely horrible. TJ Watt should have probably had 3 sacks in that game. He clearly timed up the snap count, gets the stack strip. They call the penalty, and then from what it sounds like to me, the ref went to TJ and said, I might have missed that one. Well, that can't happen, okay? Thought the officiating was terrible. Thought the offensive pass interference on George was a terrible call. Just overall really bad from the officials in that week 1. I know you can't say anything, so you just stay quiet here. That was terrible. They were awful, and really lucky the Steelers pulled that game out. But, yeah, TFL, Falcons, I don't know that crew, really, really bad performance. It was noticeably bad. So I can't imagine. I was at the game. I cannot imagine what it looked like on TV.
What would you have done if you did know the crew?
I would have named names. I would have named names. Okay, I will name names if I know the crew. I just honestly, I hate to say it, they were so bad Sunday. It wasn't important enough to look up who it was.
All right, Karen, you contact Karen.
You know what? You would care if you guys had lost that damn game. All right. So yeah. Oh, you called me Karen. I thought you said you don't care. Well, whatever. Karen. Okay. Well, Oh, wait. Let me ask you this. So you thought the officiating was good Sunday?
No comment.
Okay, Karen. Hey, appreciate that.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week with an all-new episode of Not Just Football. Make sure you follow the show on social media and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Peace.